Hello and welcome back to the Astro League podcast. This is obviously our second week. We went through our first week last week. I'm Echo, and we've got four amazing people, one of them different than last week as well. Magic, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
How's it going, everyone? My name is Magic 8-Ball. I'm a caster for the Astro League and do freelance commentary on the side.
Yeah, I'm Toasty. I guess we'll do this in the same order as last time then, clockwise. I'm Toasty. Basically, I mean, if you were here last time, you know who I am. I'm the funny guy who gets made fun of. So I'm not actually funny. I'm just kind of like the butt of the jokes. And yeah, that's me. I'm the broadcast head over here.
Okay, I'm Moon, and I manage Sailor Moon team. So yeah, that's literally it. I'm quite boring.
And Hex.
I'm Hex. I manage Summit Peak, and I'm also the head administrator at Astro League. And I might be a caster. I don't know. Maybe.
Heck sounds like he's in a
It's a
job
possibility.
interview.
I forgot
It
to
is,
mention that I do GFX. How did I forget that?
I
I'm literally the head artist.
It's literally the main thing.
So this has gone off to a great start. Well done,
Amazing.
everyone. Wait, so did you actually make the ones that we've got behind us now?
That was like a group project, I suppose. I made you know, like the main logo for like the Discord server and the Twitter.
Yes, I know that.
The fancy space one. Yeah, that's me.
Nice.
There we
Wait,
go.
I can show you right now. Actually, this background. I think this is Moon.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, this is Moon. Yeah.
Wow.
You're welcome.
I was actually there when they were making it. So.
You were.
Cool.
And then I had all the
Cool.
troubles. I've had like 3 logos for my team as well, and like 2
Yeah.
rebrands. Oh,
Yeah, you rebranded, then you went back to Sailor Moon. Which is the
yeah.
funniest thing about it.
And then we were gonna rebrand all the teams, but then
But
we
we're
were
like,
no. But we
So
are
that's
gonna
next.
do that next season. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I quite like the way that they're all kind
That
of
makes
branded out
sense.
now, but
Well, yeah. So what we're gonna plan on doing? This is like completely not related to what the podcast
that's
is meant
fine.
to be about. But what we're planning on doing next season and all the seasons to come is we're gonna do a complete rebrand of all the teams every season. So and we're gonna do a different theme for every season. So I think next season it's gonna be like mythology,
I'm really
and the
excited
one
for
after
this.
that,
Ooh.
I think it's gonna be like
Wait,
space,
what?
and then
Is
I
it
think it'll be
space
animals.
already?
Wait a second, Hex. I have a question. How are you gonna tie in the name theme Astro League to mythology, or are you just gonna? Are we
Well,
turning into
no.
like Percy Jackson League or something?
Well, no, I mean it's not gonna be really related to the name of the league. It's just gonna be a cool theme for the teams themselves, you know,
Right.
separate from the league. And then obviously space will be very tied into
Okay.
Yeah.
Astro.
Well, Roman mythology is like the names of the planets and the stars. You know what I mean? Like it could tie in. We can
So
tie
yeah.
in.
Go for like any type of mythology. So you could go for like Norse mythology if you wanted to.
Yeah, or you
Yeah.
could go for Japanese mythology.
It's exciting.
Shut up, you weeb.
Oh, no!
Anyway, on with the show.
Damn.
So obviously we've had our first week of games over here at Astro League, right? And I know that there was some expectations, shall we say, going into the first week, and I don't think all of those expectations were exactly met from a lot of us on this podcast. There was only one person that actually got a lot of it right, and I'm not going to say his name. Hex, it was not you. Go sit down.
Wait,
No,
that's
Hex was
me.
2-1. Hex was 2-1.
Oh,
Yeah, me and
okay,
Hex are
is
both
2-1 as
2
well.
and 1. Yeah.
Okay. But so let's go in to talk about the game results themselves. So obviously, the first map of the week that we had last week. Toasty, do you want to kind of give us a rundown of it?
Wait, what? What's going on? What are we doing?
First map of the week last week. I think it was Phoenix Ignite, right?
Oh, that was
The first game last week
Quantum.
was Quantum Quasars versus
Okay.
Sailor Moon.
Get
Yeah.
it right.
So that went, I guess unexpectedly for my standards, expectedly for everyone else's standards, right? Because that was Quantum Quasars getting slapped around like a fish. They made it, kind of close at times. And, everyone was predicting that Quantum Quasars would be like top 3. So it's a bit of a surprise that
I mean-
Sailor Moon won that.
I mean, the thing is, I feel like Quantum Quasars didn't actually play that badly. Sailor Moon just played very, very well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fair.
I mean, Sailor Moon, we've got you here, right? Why do you think your team did well or so well there?
Honestly, I feel like my team has a really big advantage with the synergy, and I feel like Toasty underestimated my team with their synergy because you were like, "Oh, Quantum
And I
Quasars
will
has
continue
the advantage."
to.
Well, I mean, we have new players again. So we have a new sub as well. So obviously this next week is going to be interesting because I might be playing my sub player. So gonna see how
Ooh.
that goes. But I think you definitely underestimated my team for sure.
Yep, I agree.
I feel like everyone did, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah,
most
I
of
mean
us
we
don't
are
really know
literally
what's
we
going
were
on.
literally labeled the underdogs of this.
Yeah.
And then
And
people
honestly,
started-
I always end
yeah.
up supporting the underdogs. So
I
Well, it
mean,
did
I
seem like
can't
you were
remember.
at the end of the day, right? Like your
yeah.
team did really well. Like you said,
yeah,
synergy, Magic. I saw you were nodding there about synergy. Do you have something to say specifically about that?
I mean, from what I watched of the match, Sailor Moon looked like they were taking corners together every time. They had no problem breaking out of chokes points. And even though they were against Quantum Quasars, who seemed like they were struggling specifically to put up a lot of resistance, every time that they got an advantage, it seemed like they were ready to push the aggression button, even on defense. It was really impressive.
I mean, to be honest, I reinstated with them that Quantum played quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I feel
Uh,
like I mean, all of the managers have been very, very cautious and in telling their team the way that Quantum play because
Yeah.
I think Carl had it in his analyst notes that they have a very ratty play style, and that's not like
Mhm.
necessarily a bad thing, but it's very,
it's
very
like
frustrating to
camping
play against.
corners or like
Yeah,
going on this crazy flank just for one kill, which I like
and
reinstated
like
with my team to
yeah.
watch out for, which I think actually gives them an advantage as well.
Yeah, I think if you don't know how to counter that playstyle and you're not prepared for it, it's detrimental. But if you're ready for it when you go into the game, then the other team just has a complete lower hand. And I think that's pretty much why Sailor Moon, well, not why, but a factor in why Sailor Moon did
I mean,
just
we
the
also
way
have
it performed.
Kirim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's obviously a pretty big part of that anyway, right? Like as soon as you have a couple of those people, it's just gonna tip in completely in your favor. But so do we want to go over? Oh no, we'll go over talent threads later, won't we? Okay, so
Mhm.
going on to the next map of the week. Was that Phoenix Ignite? Or was that
That
Sun?
was
That was-
That
Phoenix
was Phoenix
Ignite.
Ignite. Magic, do you want to run us through that a little bit of that one?
Phoenix Ignite was such a heavy underdog, and it was a slobber knocker of a set, besides
Mhm.
one map in particular. But Golden Academy just looked like they could not pull together their mental and pull together their synergy enough in the hands of the powerhouse that was Phoenix Ignite.
And what was it about Phoenix Ignite? I'll open this up for everyone. What was it about Phoenix Ignite, do we think, that allowed them to take it back? Because obviously they lost the first map. They managed to take it back on Ascent and then win out the last map on Fracture as well. What was it that allowed that? Okay, Toasty, go ahead.
What was it that allowed Phoenix
was
Ignite
your
to take
team.
it back?
This
Yeah.
Phoenix Ignite is your team, the one
This-
that you were rooting for the entire time.
I mean, you say that I was rooting for the only I was rooting for. Like, I was the only
Yeah.
person here to predict
Yeah.
Phoenix Ignite, and I mean,
Honestly, I feel like you were the only person in like the whole of Astro League. to
Honestly, I
predict
think
it.
we were.
Yeah.
We all really underestimated Phoenix.
yeah,
I mean,
you were
the
talking
thing
about
is-
Sailor Moon being the underdogs.
I mean, later on we're gonna go through a few roster changes that there have been, and there have been a lot to Phoenix Ignite that came before
Yes.
the game, and that is a heavy factor
Definitely.
of why. And also, I remember last time we were talking about scrims and stuff, and it's been very interesting because I remember I was talking about how Golden Academy were like dominating in scrims, and they've went in and they got like dominated by Phoenix Ignite. So
yeah.
it's
I mean,
interesting 'cause we
And
were
it-
making a lot of comparisons to Overwatch League, and I think it's quite potent here.
Yeah, and
I wouldn't say it was a domination though.
no, it was not a domination by any means.
No, it
and,
was close.
yeah, so something I want to say
Except
here.
for Ascent.
So yeah, that's what I was about to say. I was about to say Ascent was like kind of the turning point. Because what we saw in Ascent, and we'll discuss this a bit later, we have this as our kind of featured map of the week, we'll go over that in a little bit, but just like the brief overview is that kind of, there was a very defensive composition being played by Phoenix Ignite. They weren't playing with very many offensive duelists, they were playing with a Reyna, and that was pretty much it, while the opposing team had a Jet, and, you know, they were playing a lot more aggressive generally as a playstyle as well. I think what it came down to was Phoenix Ignite's defense, where they just locked down those sides. They had the Killjoy, they had a Reyna playing really defensively, just playing around corners and waiting for, being really patient with those kills, and I think that was what was kind of the turning point, that Ascent map.
Yeah, 100%. It seemed like it just absolutely ruined the mentals, I guess, right, of Golden Academy, and they went into it, and obviously we've got some roster changes to talk about in a little bit as well. But yeah, it just didn't end up working for them. And finally, we've got the last map of the week that happened. Hex, I'll let you talk us through this, and you can big your team up.
Yeah, so the last match of the week was Summit Peak versus Vivictus. And obviously going into that game, I wasn't incredibly confident. You know, obviously I was expecting that my team would play well, but I wasn't ridiculously confident like how some other captains were. Or sorry, managers were. And obviously everyone predicted against my team, which was very disappointing coming out of the podcast. But obviously as the kind of underdogs. We came through and we won that. And honestly, it wasn't very close. If you go back through the games, it was 13-7 both games. And I mean, obviously that's not a hard roll, but that's not close either. You know, like it would have been considered a comeback if they'd won from there. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy about how it went. My team played very well. Obviously, we saw Titan shine, or what was it in the game? I think Navish Puck in the game.
Navish Puck, yeah.
Yeah. In game name. And yeah, I mean, obviously we had the sub of McQuee as well, who is subbing for our initiator Aiden, who would normally be the IGL, which was quite worrying going in because losing your IGL is not something you want at all. But McQuee played very, very well. I'm happy that we chose him as a sub, and he's actually lower rank than our main player, so I think it worked out for us because obviously I feel like if you get a sub that's a higher rank than the starting player, it's a bit like should that sub be
Was it
playing?
a fluke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But considering he played really well and was lower rank, I'm really, really happy.
So we should be expecting bigger things when you get your main player coming back in. Then is that what you're
Hopefully.
saying?
Hopefully, yeah. I mean,
We're going to see 100 Thieves 13-0 here, like.
you know, I'm not gonna make any predictions because I don't wanna.
Doesn't want to
be
commit.
like, yeah,
And we'll come back
yeah.
on you.
And looking how good Phoenix Ignite have been, it's
Oh.
a bit worrying. But obviously, I'm not unconfident.
Okay, no, that's good. Was there anything else anyone wanted to say on that map specifically? Toasty, I know you were around for it.
Oh yeah, I rang on the cast for that one. Yeah. Well, no, I didn't ring on the cast for that one. I was just fully casting it. Yeah. But I mean, I think that was about an expected result for that game. Like, I don't think anyone. I think that the predictions for that were like split, right? I think we had like a 50-50 of some people going Quantum, some people going Summit.
Yeah, I think
you
the
saw that in the
final vote
analyst
was
spreads and in
3
the
to 1.5 in the podcast.
Yeah, and then obviously the analyst spreads were kind of split as well. So I think that for that result, I mean, it being 13-7, 13-7 was not too unexpected. I think it was a bit more dominant than people expected in favor of Summit Peak, but it wasn't awful.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, so obviously one of the biggest things, Hex, you've already mentioned it. We've already mentioned it a little bit anyway. Is obviously roster changes. They happened a lot over, like, kind of from the start of the league to when we first had a couple of matches. So let's go through some of them. Hex, do you want to walk us through some of the biggest ones and how they could have affected the teams leading into the first week, and then eventually leading on from the first one into the second as well?
Yeah, so I mean there are a lot, and we've had actually a lot of players come out from outside of the league to come and join a few of the teams, and that's mainly due to like inactive players and things like that, and stuff where you won't necessarily have a player that's already kind of like a free agent that is able to fill in for that role, which is why we've had to bring people outside. And obviously, if we can get someone from within the league, we will, but sometimes it's a bit difficult. So I think obviously starting with pretty much the most impactful change, I'd say, is probably Fish on Sailor Moon, who came from no status, from outside of the league, who was friends with Games, I believe, and came in and dominated.
So Fish is Kiram.
Yeah, Fish Kiram. I mean, Moon, if you want to talk about that a little bit, about that change, a little bit, since it is your player, you can go ahead.
Well, honestly, I think our change with Kiram or Fish is definitely the biggest factor for our team at the moment. And I mean, like I said, we also have a new sub player, who we've also got, who is pretty good, but I might not sub them in. That's the thing. I'm sort of debating it at the moment because I don't want to like cause a bit of controversy per se. But definitely Kurum is a really good player, and he's really good at taking the initiative with the team because he's my team captain now. And I think that as well has been like a really good decision for my team.
Mm. So do you think specifically having that kind of right team captain will make a change? Because Feineg was team captain before, right?
Yeah.
So that switch has kind of helped the team coming into that first map and then hopefully into the second week as well.
I definitely think the team captains have like a really big impact on the team. Because like Kiram definitely, like I said, takes the initiative and he'll make a plan for us, whatever. But he's really good and everyone gets along with him, which also again is a really important thing. Is like if a team didn't get along with their captain, then it'd be a bit hit or miss.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like it would probably leave the team falling quite low in the standings if that happened, and maybe that's some changes we'll see coming out into more of the teams later on. What about any other kind of big changes, Hex?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, another big change for Phoenix Ignite was Bastion of China getting put in, and that was mainly for balancing purposes because Phoenix Ignite roster was looking very kind of like low on the rank side. And I know that Bastion of China did a bit of a silly and decided to use a safe glitch rule and got 5 rounds deducted because they were using the safe glitch rule to win 10 rounds deducted with points wise because they won 10 rounds with that safe glitch rule. And the reason that we're doing that is because it's a complete abuse of game mechanics. Well, not even a glitch, where the sage is behind the wall and the sage can shoot through the wall, but people can't shoot the sage without destroying the entire wall. So it's ridiculously broken if you can get it, and obviously, that's what we've decided to do. And we had a discussion with kind of some of the players, some of the captains, all the managers talked about it, and we decided that was the best move to make for it because it meant that Phoenix Ignite still won the game, but it just meant that it balanced out the rounds that they might not have won because of that.
I had no idea that was the case.
Yeah, I did notice like a couple of like interesting walls from Bastion of China during that game, so I didn't want to point it out during the game, but when Hex brought it up, I was like, oh yeah, maybe we should penalize them a little bit because I was one of the people that obviously was consulted about it overall, and I kind of agreed with them. Don't make them replay the game because for a game of that caliber, I don't think you make them replay the map. But that 10-round deduction, I think. Was kind of justified, and also that is actually quite detrimental to Phoenix Ignite. They lose 10 differential off that.
Yeah.
They weren't super high on the differential anyway, were they?
Not really,
So
no.
they've got to be about even. I think they were only 11 points up beforehand, before this came in.
Yeah. So I mean, it was over 2 maps, so it's not like it's 10 rounds getting deducted from one map alone,
Right.
which kind of makes case slightly better. But obviously, it's not great for them either. So yeah, that's a big change and a bit of an awkward situation for Phoenix Ignite. Then there's one from Quantum Quasars of Era. I'm not too sure what happened with that. Sorry.
I was noticing that in the game in particular because Era seemed to be one of the players that made an impact, not necessarily in a negative way, but you could tell that there just wasn't the synergy there that they needed. There wasn't the aggression that you wanted to see from the player who was sitting out T. And you could tell that a bunch of them were on characters that they weren't comfortable with, from what I saw.
Yeah. So that was a thing, and I think they definitely played well, and that was a good thing for Quantum. And then obviously lots of Sailor Moon stuff with captains and the new sub, that we're just gonna brush over because that's not super important or super impactful. And then our first trade of the season so far, which was from Land to Keon between Vav and Gak, which is nice to see. Trades already happening week 1 or week 2 kind of. And then Galix has gotten taken off because due to some rule breaking, I think I'll say.
Yeah.
So yeah, they got actually banned, and obviously I'm not going to go into detail because it's some staff stuff, and yeah, don't particularly want to talk about that on YouTube.
Even I don't know, so
Yeah, very high up, very high up.
Yeah.
Okay, but we can't talk about why it happened, but the
No.
impact that's going to have on the team. I mean, we were talking about this a little bit before the podcast anyway, right? Galaxis seem to be, to me, one of the better teams on Golden Academy, right? And with them going off, there's literally the person's name is Bay, I think, in game. They're probably the only other top tier player that was on that team. Do we think this is going to impact Golden Academy a lot?
I mean, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, Galax is one of the probably best players or one of the better players in the league really, and losing them on your team is not a good situation. Yeah, to say the least. It's not a good situation at all, or for Gak, and also, you got to remember as well that Carl was the one that kind of went through with the punishment, and it's his team as well. So obviously it was quite a big deal for him to make that move, and very committed to the league, which is great.
No abuse of power in this
yeah.
league.
Of course not, of course. So yeah, and that was obviously, it was not, Carl didn't want to do it, but he had to because it was obviously a whole thing. But they got a new player in Golden Academy called Davion, or yeah, Davon, and they're Gold 3, but Gold 3 can be at the same level as Diamond player, honestly. If if we look at some of the players in the league, I mean, someone like, for example,
McQuee?
Yeah, McQuee.
Yeah.
McQuee, I think Silver 3 or Gold
Yeah.
1, and he can literally outclass like Diamond players or high plat players, which is very impressive.
And I mean, a lot of where Galaxis is getting their power from wasn't actually from pure mechanics, right? It was a lot of the game sense, sort of utility usage. I think they were playing Killjoy on the Ascent map at least. I'm not sure what they're playing the other ones as well, but like their Killjoy usage was incredible to get all that information. That's really for me where they stood out, not just their pure mechanics. They had other players like the Jet player to be able to do that on that team anyway. But yeah, so is there any more? So other than Davin coming on, I think that's it we have for roster changes, Hex.
Yeah, and yeah, that is it. And I also wanted to say that now leaves, I believe, Valve and that leaves Summer Peak with the only team that hasn't had a roster change.
Yeah.
Is that just your good management?
Yeah.
Did we mention the Keon Golden Academy to Vivictus trade? Did we mention
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Land to Keon. They made that trade, and that was actually a bit of a sticky one for us to think about, because obviously it's trading a Diamond 3 for a Plat 3, and thinking about balancing, we did consider that, but then obviously with the whole situation with Galax, we did allow it in the end. And I think that Valve are actually looking to make more trades, or could be Golden Academy looking to make more trades. I'm not too sure. But yeah, there are teams that are out to get the good players.
Yeah.
But we are going to be doing balancing, making sure that people don't have like 6 plat players on, 6 diamond players on one team or something, to make sure that it all stays good. Because obviously, in like professional sport or something, you can allow a team to get incredible, but this is all fun, so we don't want to make it too unbalanced.
Right.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, so do you think? Okay, one last look on the Lance Lefnut and Keon trade there. Oh no, was it Lance? Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
Do we think that's going to have a big impact? Obviously, Keon getting moved. Keon maybe not the best fragger out of the Golden Academy team, but I think they were really good on their anchoring of sites again. We see this a lot from a lot of players. They had an incredible amount of assists through their game last week. Do we think this is a good trade for both teams?
I mean, does someone else want to go? Because I feel like I'm doing a lot of talking at the moment.
Toasty, Magic?
I'll hand this one off to Magic.
I think that it does seem like a good trade. To be honest, it seems like at the end of the day, they need players who are going to try and give them a little bit more of an edge. Like they already have the players like Hank Schrader and Zucchini and Zenith who can do the fragging, right? So this seems like a good trade for them, especially if they have someone who's level-headed, who's going to mesh with the team, and who can be that support role, that bottom fragger.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to ask a question as well. Sorry if I echo taking your
go ahead.
role as whatever. But yeah, I wanted to ask a question.
Am I nothing to you, Hex?
No, I mean like as like a presenter, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
You're meant to be asking the question. Whatever. Okay. Um, so I just wanted to ask, like, for everyone, who do you like? Which team do you think is getting the upper hand from the trade here? Because obviously, with every trade, there's going to be a team that comes out with the better player. You know.
Vivictus.
I don't know. I don't. So I'll let you explain, but I don't think either team's getting the upper hand. I think this is a really even trade here.
I think so.
Well, obviously, I think with Vivictus getting who is Keon from this, right? At least as a trial. As you say, not the most flashy player of all, but I think if you go into these games as Vivictus and you're like, okay, I've kind of lost the hardest out of all of the teams in the league this week, right? I think going into the next week, you have to be like, okay, how are we gonna actually get our foot in the door? How are we gonna start rebuilding? And I think you start with like the core, right? It's early enough that you can start to rebuild kind of your structure around a like you say, like a bottom frag, not too flashy player, to really build around. So I think Keon coming in for Vivictus, if it proves, if it goes well for them, I think is probably coming out on top here, Vivictus. And I believe they got Connor S as well. Not sure who that is, but could also, again, it's like the unknowns that we were talking about with Phoenix Ignite last week, where it's like they're gonna come in, they're gonna surprise people, I think.
I mean, yeah, the thing I find interesting about that trade is that obviously Vivictus are trading a top fragger and getting a bottom fragger, right?
That's exactly what the teams need,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm
yeah.
saying.
Like, but both teams. Like, I think at the end of the day, Golden Academy, they needed someone up there with Bay who can be the new Galaxis, right?
Mhm.
But and on the other side, we need the side of Vivictus. They need someone that can play the supportive. That okay, not flashy, but all they're doing is flashes. Role on something like a Sky, something like a Breach, right? I mean, you were saying flashy the entire time. I was like, that's all Keon was doing, and they were doing it well. And we need someone that can really kind of allow those top fraggers to pop off in the way that they best can, because they didn't seem like they were being supported as best as they could in the game so far. So if Keon, who obviously adapted really well to Golden Academy to allow Bay to pop off as much as they could, if they can then switch that over into a new team, which I imagine they can, works really well for them. And we needed a new top fragger on the side of Golden Academy. This is a perfectly balanced trade, no matter what the ranks are, for me at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fair enough. Honestly, I was asking that question because honestly, I couldn't really figure out where the imbalance was. But when you say it like that, obviously, it makes a lot of sense. So yeah.
Any last things to recap the last week then from anyone?
I just want to reinstate the fact that I was right, about Phoenix Ignite.
We're going through that later, Toasty.
No, but I'm talking about the previous week. This is technically still past. It's like
I think Phoenix surprised so many people though.
yeah.
Because I mean,
I'm still dumbfounded.
My team had a scrim with them the week before, and like we rolled them, and that was with the old roster, obviously.
Yeah.
Like I'm not trying to be mean, but that was with the old roster. So now that there is a new one, it is a bit like worrying, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that just goes to show how much one roster change can really impact a team.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you, Magic, for bringing lessons of wisdom to us all. Cool. So we'll head on to our next kind of segment of the podcast. So we're introducing this as a new segment. We didn't have it last week, obviously, because there were no maps to go through. But so we have decided to have a featured map. And we're going actually over that game that we were talking about a little bit there between Phoenix Ignite and Golden Academy. We have two magics on screen currently as well, so lucky all of you at home. Don't get confused. The magic that was currently waving just then is the real one.
I didn't think they could actually see my wave. I think let me.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, let me recrop that for you. There you go.
So, Magic, are you behind two webcams at once right now, or?
Yes, no, I am in two places at once.
Wow,
I have two video
okay.
feeds, like
So
that's
how
actually
did you
me
do that?
from Omega Earth. You know what I mean?
Oh, so you went to in like a different universe or something like?
Yeah, no, I was there at the fracture. Like I communicate. I'm like Chamber has me hooked up.
Wow.
What is this? Spider-Man: No Way Home?
No, it's Valorant. Do you not know how Valorant works?
No.
Okay. So next week we're gonna have another section about introducing Toasty to Valorant lore, because I think that's quite important, right?
Oh, we already
Is
have
there
a
Valorant
Toasty
lore?
segment though.
No, I'm
today.
sorry, but is there Valor? Is there
Valorant
lore
lore?
within Valorant?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
exactly what Magic
100%.
was just talking about.
That's what I was talking about.
There's like two
Oh.
Earths and stuff, and like Chamber was like involved in like an explosion and stuff. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, like that's what
No,
the
I don't
fracture
know.
Have you
was.
okay? So have you lot seen the Valorant loading screen where it's like them at like the teleporter and there's like an
Yeah.
explosion happening? You know?
Yeah.
That's lore.
They're trying to get to the other Earth.
Oh, so that's what those
Oh.
little file things scattered around are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That absolutely no one reads.
maybe.
There's one
I've
on
not-
Ascent
the
here as
reason-
well.
The reason you can't read it is because you don't have enough time. I tried to read one once. And
Yeah, but
and
you're
I
a
have
slow
dyslexia.
reader.
No, I have dyslexia. but Still.
Yeah.
No, honestly,
Anyway.
Valorant's kind of ableist, to be honest.
Yeah, come on, Moon. God.
I'll read it for you.
No, I said Valorant. I said Valorant.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Anyway, so moving away from people not knowing the lore about this game that we're meant to be working on at the moment.
Experts on.
Yeah, I wouldn't say experts.
No.
But so this was the second map in the series, right? We saw Golden Academy win out the first one. It wasn't super close in the first one either. Golden Academy, they won out. It looked pretty strong from them.
9-13? It was
Yeah.
strong, but Phoenix Ignite did go on a tear right before
Mhm.
Golden Academy kind of woke
Yeah.
back up and took the map, right?
Yeah, exactly. But then coming to Ascent, so the team comps, Toasty, you discussed this a little bit earlier, right?
Yeah.
There's a big difference between these two team comps. Like we have a much more aggressive on the side of Phoenix Ignite and a much more defensive side of Golden Academy, and we have the more aggressive team comp attacking first.
Yeah, I believe currently the overlay is actually
Yeah, it's
swapped
actually
on this,
switched, 'cause
so it's the
Bastion
other way
Ignite was playing
around.
Sage.
So
okay.
it's the defensive composition here for Phoenix Ignite. They're the ones playing kind of the Sova, the Sage, and only have the Reyna as a duelist. Something I was criticizing coming into this, obviously. I was on the desk a little bit before this map. I wasn't actually casting it as of yet, but I did mention how I thought that maybe Phoenix Ignite should play something quite aggressive, try and take the tempo themselves. They didn't actually do that, which is a surprise considering they actually won this map later on, and I think the reason is because, sure, they didn't do too well on their attacking half, but their defensive half was bloody brilliant because they were playing, like we say, they're playing the Sage, the Killjoy, the Sova, the Viper, so much util to just hold down a site, and even on their attack, once they got control of a site, there was almost no retaking for Golden Academy.
Yeah, it was
Right.
all about those post-plant situations, right? Magic, you actually casted this map specifically,
Yes.
right? As we saw your face earlier. And so was it all about those post-plant situations, kind of keeping control of the site after the fact?
I'd say a majority of it was. I'd say the amount that they could hold down space with this Phoenix Ignite composition, and the way that they could even burst out and take it because of Reversal, who was just... The two key players for this match were Adam and Reversal, because once Reversal got on that operator, even on offense, was just tearing people apart and getting incredibly good first blood picks, as well as Adam, who made the entire difference between one Killjoy and another. One Killjoy was able to hold down spots, was able to play post plant, was able to play around those clutch situations very well, whereas the other wasn't. And that was really the key difference, in my opinion.
I completely agree that obviously Adam was so good on that Killjoy especially, right? But honestly, it came down to everyone. Semesco doing such good work getting the info,
Yeah.
because there was only one information gatherer, right, on that side, which is a little bit rare. We don't often see that in Valorant at the moment, with so much info being able to be gathered by, whether it's by Sentinels, whether it's by initiators, whatever it is. But having only a Sova, that's not always the best way of going about it, but they were so good. They knew that they were kind of lacking in that aspect. Their drone usage, their recon darts, whatever they're called, were both so good to get that information and to allow their team to then rotate off of it or push aggressively if they thought that something was empty. But I do want to say, one of the things that it felt like was lacking from both teams was their kind of control of the economy, from my perspective. I don't know if you saw that Magic in the cast.
I noticed a little bit of it. It definitely felt like both teams were kind of going back and forth, and like they didn't really like win some of their bonus rounds. They didn't take entire advantages and like play around when teams were gonna need to play with shotguns. You know what I mean? Things like that. And because of that, it was tough.
I just wanted to make a comment that I was remembering recently because so obviously Sukihiro actually subbed in for my team when we played against
Mm.
who do we play against? We played Vivictus.
Yeah.
And one thing that I found interesting about like retakes and things is that Sukihiro actually IGL'd for us, which is really lucky that he was able to do that as a sub. And his IGLing was so good, like it was ridiculous, and it kind of puzzles me how their how how Golden Academy's like retakes and anchoring and stuff wasn't as good as it might have wanted to be with like such a good IGL, and it makes me wonder like what did Phoenix Ignite do to anger them to take away their good IGL, because I feel like I know I'm not too sure about McQueen himself, but I know that a lot of IGLs tend to get quite frustrated very quickly.
Mm. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
that was
think there was
probably
anything.
part of it.
Yeah, but I don't think it was anything specific about what they were doing badly. I think that Phoenix Ignite, their defense, like mainly because of this team comp, was just so locked down. Not just because of the Killjoy ultimates that were beautiful come out from Adam.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
so good. So we're coming up into the first full buy round for both teams here as well. And I actually remember this. I remember this round specifically. They go hard straight onto site, and look at this. The positioning from Golden Academy was still so good, and yet Phoenix Ignite they just managed to win out overall because of their defenses once they managed to get onto site. Like, but obviously Reversal went in there a little bit too aggressive. This was happening a bit too often. Was Reversal going quite aggro? And poor Semesco just getting stuck in this corner.
It was tough, but it was also really impressive how they were able to work around tough rounds like these. And the way that you break out of a round like this is by making plays like this, which should never happen.
Yeah, no, like it's like we see them evening up, and then I think there's not even a full buy run come out from them, like Phoenix Ignite here. Like this is what I mean from the economy, though, right? The economy kind of wasn't managed completely correctly because we should have seen them full buying here. They may be buying too much of their util. I know the Sova drones were being used in situations from both teams, I think, where you probably could have just saved it. Like the Phoenix Ignite over there used it. Feel like they didn't really need to.
No, I mean, oftentimes they didn't have to, but they were kind of dependent on that util. Like
Yeah.
that was their entire shtick. They don't have those aggressive champions with the cheap util to get on the site quickly, and just like one flash ends up stunning the entire team. Right? They needed to depend on that util because that was their game. That was their game plan, really.
Yeah, I mean, I know personally, obviously I'm bronze, but as a controller player, I feel like it's so important, especially for like initiators, controllers, and some sentinels. Getting good util as opposed to good guns can be just so much more important. Like it can be so impactful having a Sova drone instead of having having like I don't know, instead of having like a good gun over a slightly worse gun.
Yeah, like a
and having
Phantom
Sova
versus
drone.
a Guardian.
Yeah, exactly. Like something like that. It's not a massive difference, and people can still pop off easily with those kind of guns, like a Guardian. I mean, a Guardian's a great gun. I love it. Um, and and having a very good util for your entire team can be so much more beneficial than just maybe one frag.
It can be, but when you're using your server drones when there's no need, I mean, this was just aggressive from your mother's bed. I don't know why they did that, but like so using your util when there's actually not much of a need to use it in a lost round, then having to buy up 400 credits the next round, that kind of deficit. If that happens 3 or 4 times over the course of a map, you lose out on a ton of credits. Like if you're using your server drones when you don't need to. But I completely agree. Buying out those server drones as much as you can, so important, especially if they're your only info gatherer. But so this attempted retake coming out here was so good, and Adam played so well in the back of sight here.
Yeah.
To slow everyone down. I remember this round specifically was
Same.
beautiful slow play from Adam.
And even to like fighting around this lockdown here, just having balls of steel.
Yeah, Like they die out here, but the slow play, the mollies. There's just no way they can defend it. It's
Yeah, and this was as well. This is kind of round I had in mind when I was saying like, oh yeah, Phoenix Ignite. As soon as they get onto site, that's when it really goes well for them because again they're playing this defensive composition. You've got a Viper for lineups, you've got a Killjoy for lineups, you've got a Sage who is likely using a Grimwall on an off angle, right? Whenever they get onto site, they have so much to slow the incoming retake down that it's no surprise that the defensive half went extremely well for them as well, and that's what they actually won on. And I think Phoenix Ignite, all it took was for them to get onto site, and then they started winning rounds. Like, they took the first 2 rounds because, well, it's pretty hard for the defenders to defend you off, and then coming into the rifle rounds, all you've got to do is, again, scout out, use your server util, maybe throw some Viper smokes here and there, and really make your way onto the site as slowly as possible, and then you're all set up for the kind of defensive.
But it's all about the Viper smokes straight down mid. Like
Yeah.
these Viper smokes that go deep in mid. Like that okay, that one's a little bit off, right?
Yeah.
But usually, like when they get the lineup right, it takes so much space, and mid on ascent is so powerful because you can see they can just full push with
They can just
5
burst
people
onto
now.
this. And this is
onto
exactly what
site.
they did last round too.
Yeah, and it just should have worked if the the defending side didn't just have better mechanics in that exact situation.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the thing is with the lineups, like obviously they are really, really great to know, but if you like solely play lineups, it just becomes way too predictable for me. Like, obviously they are good if the other team doesn't expect or doesn't know how to counter it, but the second the other team's like, oh, okay, they'll just go for this lineup, I'll just push a different way, and then you die. You know, it's that kind of thing that gets kind of like can be a very big downside. But obviously in this situation, Phoenix Knights played it so well, and they didn't get counted, which was lucky for them.
And I remember I made a point, and I think it was during this game in particular, which like the first bloods were so important, and I think that goes back to what you were saying, Echo, that if they can get onto site, then it's over. But if they can't get onto site and they go down early, then there's not a whole lot that they can do. There's not a whole lot that they can break on. Oh, I
like
hated
the first
that.
blood's there.
Yeah.
But exactly, like as soon as they can get that first pick, then they don't have enough to break onto site, and then they don't have enough to play the long game. So going down early was the was essentially the lose condition for Golden Academy, and they just did it too many times.
Yeah, and I think as well, this round right here was actually one that, if you look in podcast resources, actually put a good bit of information on this round. I was saying how they get those 2 kills in Catwalk, and Golden Academy start camping the spike, and this is the thing, Phoenix Ignite was stuck in kind of a corner during this round because you don't have your offensive utility, you don't have a Reyna to layer yourself in to get that spike, you don't really have anything to entry you onto the site, and that's why Golden Academy just ended up winning this round. Phoenix Ignite, I mean, whenever they're in this situation, whenever the first pick, goes down, then it's pretty much over. And like desperation there, you see from Bastion in China. I mean, that's a perfect example because what can you do in that situation with a shorty and a pistol against a bunch of people with rifles when they have possession of the spike? That's why Golden Academy were winning some of these rounds.
So do we think this is the main weakness of Phoenix Ignite? Like obviously they end up winning this game. We talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
But do we think this is their main weakness? The fact they play super defensively.
Yeah. I think that can be exploited massively. I think any team going against them, I think it's Summit going up against them this week, Hex, right? Like, for Summit, I think the win con for them there, and obviously I think the game will happen before this podcast goes out, so hopefully I'm not coaching Summit for them, but I think the win condition there is literally just focus on trying to break Phoenix Ignite's defenses, because their offense, as long as you can break through any sort of defense they put up, or just get those first kills, then they're not going to be able to set up the defense in the first place, then you're good, right? Because Phoenix Ignite are not going to beat you in, like, the 1v1 duels or, like, the gunfights or the fast-paced gameplay. They get onto site, they put up lineups, and they just sit there and play time. So if you can break through that, if you can play around that well, like Hex said earlier, predictable, pretty easy to beat.
So
Yeah,
Phoenix Ignite
didn't
is
get
that...
beaten here,
sorry, go
but-
ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I mean the thing is they didn't get beaten, and that's a good thing for them. But
Yeah.
I feel like if a team just plays lineups similar to like Quantum's very ratty playstyle, if a team plays lineups only going into the game, it's not going to be hard to beat them.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it would be interesting to see whether or not that ends up being the exact case, right? Because here, so Golden Academy, they got, what, 2 more rounds this entire game? Like
I think so, yeah.
they had a lot of time to adapt to this, and going on to the Fracture, the next map as well, that was closed up by a beautiful ace from Bastion of China.
Yeah, that was
A beautiful
lovely.
ace, like right at the end of that map. I love that. But like Golden Academy, they had the chance to adapt, but they couldn't do it in game. So are we expecting coaches to kind of bring up this another great first blood from your mother's bay there? But are we expecting the coaches to come up with this adaptation between games? Or should we start expecting players really, and this goes out to you team managers as well, should we start expecting team players to focus on adaptations in the middle of games between rounds?
I mean, do you want to go first?
I zoned out completely.
Re-ask
That's
the
all right.
question.
That's fine. It's fine.
I was hearing words, but they weren't going in.
That's usually what happens when I talk anyway. It's fine.
Oh,
Oh, someone said "oh" for that, not just
yeah, that
laugh.
was me. That's so sad.
I'm sorry.
But anyways, so the question was adaptations depending on teams' play styles, right? So Phoenix Ignite play a very defensive style, Quantum Quasars play a very aggressive style. Are we expecting teams in the middle of a game, between rounds and between maps, to be able to adapt to that, like Golden Academy probably should have here? Or are we expecting that to just be coaches at this level, or players maybe shouldn't be doing that yet? For your team specifically, for Sailor Moon, do your players have that ability to adapt?
Honestly, I think, yeah. Again, going back to Kieran being my team captain, like I
Mhm.
said, once again, the initiative that he takes is really good, and he can definitely switch it up, like in between rounds, in between maps, whatever. I mean, we do have quite a few in-depth like practice things, and we'll go over VODs and stuff of like the matches that have been played. So I think that again gives us a bit of an advantage, because I'm not sure what the other teams are doing, obviously, to like prepare for the next games, but we're definitely taking it as in-depth as we can without going overboard on the players.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Hex, is it kind of the same for you?
I mean, I actually wanted to make a quick comment about Sailor Moon that
Go
I
for it.
like melted at when I watched the game. I noticed, especially on Fracture, on Fracture, that what Sailor Moon were doing is that they were taking Quantum's playstyle and they were just like flipping on them, and they were doing these like weird, wacky, annoying rotations
Yeah.
that Quantum like to do, and they were doing it right. So I remember at one point.
Pre-planned, actually.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I remember at one point they went all the way through arcade, going B side. The entire team rotated through
I
arcade,
did see that.
and then got this like
Yeah.
clean. I think it might have been like a team ace or something that they got, and it was. I watched it and I was like, oh yes, I love it.
Yeah.
Right, and because it's so nice to see when teams do that. It's just like no one's expecting it.
Wasn't there like a situation as well where like they pushed in through B main, they went all the way through sewers, then they rotated through attacker side spawn through dish, got onto site, and then played a brilliant post plant. Like that's great gameplay from Sailor Moon. Just wanted to add that in there.
Yeah, but I mean, once again, it's like you said, eventually, like, obviously if my team keeps up with the same play style, then other teams are going to catch on.
Yeah.
So preferably, I'd like if they'd switch it up a little bit. But I mean, I guess we'll see what's going to be played out in the next game, because we're going against Golden Academy.
I feel like
So
there's
it'll be interesting.
I think there's something like some sort of like anime somewhere where there's like a character that like copies its like opponent, and oh yeah, I think it's in Beyblades. Yeah, there's
You'll
like
have to be a weeb.
there's a Beyblade that does the same thing that its like opponent does, and it's like you're like oh sick.
Are
But,
you-
sorry,
Okay, so
anyway.
moving on from being a weeb.
Yeah.
It's just a child like. So yeah, so with my team personally, I mean, obviously in our game, our strat was kind of working over and over again. So we weren't really forced to switch anything up. But I know that with our IGL and with Titan being very knowledgeable in the game as a whole, I definitely think that we have the ability to switch it up. Obviously, I haven't seen it yet, but I hope we do. Because
I mean,
yeah, you want it.
like, and I think that's what we should be. That's what we should be wanting from a team. Obviously, at the highest level. Oh, this is so unfortunate they didn't spot Keon. Like we were expecting the teams at a high level to be able to adapt. I was just wondering if we're kind of expecting that from this level of a team as well. And if we are, then I'm really excited to see that as a caster, right? And at Magic Atosa, I'm sure you guys feel the same when we're
Yeah.
casting. Seeing those adaptations mid-game, I remember we saw it in some of the pugs. Magic, I think I was casting with you. Mid-game adaptations to lurks from some players, that kind of stuff, especially against someone like Quantum Quasar, can be so powerful. And we see the last attack coming here from Phoenix Ignite. This was a half buy from them, I think, and they're coming up against an op and knives come out from your Mother's Bay. I just don't think it goes very well for them.
No, it
Yeah.
did not.
It didn't. And
But
the good
we're coming
thing
up to
is
their defense soon.
Yeah, the good thing is after this was like the defense, and well, I think we'll watch a couple of rounds of the defense, kind of comment on that a little bit, and then we'll wrap up this segment. But I do think that defense was really where Phoenix Ignite started to get their things going, because it's a similar situation to what Golden Academy were attempting to do on their defense.
Oh my god.
Where they were like holding angles carefully and then playing aggressive when they needed to, and obviously you see as well there's some mechanical prowess there. Phoenix Ignite didn't quite have that pop-off potential, but what they did have was kind of the very defensive composition. I keep on mentioning the composition. It's like my favorite thing to mention right now, because it's like the only theory of Valorant I know. But you know, it was a good composition for a defensive side. I mean, they don't have a duelist. Like Reyna is pretty much not a duelist after the lasers are gone.
Yeah, I mean, like, and
Kinda, yeah.
the Reyna, like, if you're playing them aggressively and you're not dismissing, which actually this happened a couple of times specifically with Reversal, they weren't dismissing when they probably should have been. They were they were trying to go for the heal to get that overheal up, so that they were high health, instead of dismissing away to a safer point and then V-peaking. So I don't know if it's just Reversal maybe not being too confident on this duelist. I don't think we saw them on duelist during the pugs much. I think they were.
We saw
switching
them on
between
like
roles quite a lot.
Cypher, weren't they?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, Reversal was very like inconsistent with the role that they played, but I remember that they were good, which is obviously why they got drafted quite early.
Other than the internet issues, but we don't talk about that.
Yeah.
Oh, we can talk about games internet issues.
Oh my
that was
God.
so funny.
Oh my god.
I'm pretty sure I think I'm not sure, you can tell me if this is wrong, Moon, but I believe that Quantum Quasar and Sailor Moon had a scrim like a couple days after, and I think Games was playing on 2000 ping.
Yeah, he was on 2K ping. Which I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, is one of the reasons that I want to make sure I have a sub. Just like I want
That's
to have.
2,000. That's
It's
wow.
crazy.
But I
That's-
believe he
That's
had
the main
found
reason
the
I
issue.
feel like I need the sub. Is just on this
Yeah.
off chance that Games ping is like 3K maybe next time, and I just have that.
skyrocket, yeah.
And that happened during the game as well, didn't it?
Yeah,
Where
we had
Games
the
just
pause.
skyrocketed a bunch of times. You had a bunch of tactical pauses, or well, technical pauses rather. And you know, 2,000 milliseconds like that. That's that's a
That's
pretty
like
high
that-
ping. That's like my
isn't-
reaction time. You know,
2000 milliseconds is like 2 seconds, isn't it?
that's 2 seconds.
Yeah, that's 2 seconds. Yeah.
That's how
Oh,
long it
what-
takes me
what-
to clear an angle in Valorant.
I remember that happened a couple times during this game too, actually. I don't think it was this map in particular where it happened a bunch, but I remember like on Bind they were pausing a couple of times, and like there were just a couple of odd situations where they were just had a bunch of like really long pauses, and even that I don't know if that helped or hurt GAC at the end of the day.
So GAC, the only round they won on their attacking side was after a pause. So this was a question actually for you admins of the league: is are attack pauses allowed in games?
I
Or is it
think,
just
I
tech
think they
pauses?
mainly stick to technical pauses, don't
I
they?
mean, yeah, I'm pretty
Okay.
sure that's the main thing that was sticking for. I mean, I didn't really. I mean, going into it, when we started the league, I was like, I just started playing Valorant, so I didn't know very much.
Wow.
And
you
neither
still
did
don't.
everyone else. Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
You're better than me.
So, well, you started playing like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like fresh to it.
But yeah, so we weren't too sure. I mean, we weren't even very knowledgeable of what that kind of stuff was. I didn't even know that was a thing till just now. so, yeah. I mean, obviously it's a tactic, but I didn't really know about it.
Yeah, they exist in
and-
like tournaments and stuff, don't they? Like VCT and all
yeah.
that.
I mean, I can,
Yeah, you
I
have-
can imagine, yeah.
You have 2 tech pauses per map, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, a tactical timeout.
yeah, tactical timeouts, right?
Right, like
Um,
how they have in like sport and stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
And I mean-
and Golden Academy won the only round on the attack after that. So I was wondering if that was why they won, because they were kind of coming up with a strategy that they thought would work in
I mean-
that attack pause.
I'm not actually too sure. I'll have a talk with Carl about it because I only just found out about this now. So, so yeah, but I don't think that should be allowed. Like we will have a chat about it and think about it, because obviously it is a strat and it is like a thing, and we could do the thing where it's like, oh, every team gets like 1 or 2 tag pauses per map or something. And that's like part of the strategy, and it can make things a bit interesting. But I think it can be quite harsh on the team that don't want it.
But it also gives that team a chance to talk. So usually in VCT or something, this would have they'd have a chance to talk to their coach or manager or something. So that's usually what it's used for, is talking to a coach who has a bird's eye view of everything.
These teams don't have coaches though, right?
Yeah, I'd say.
I think,
there's no
Feyenoord got
coaches.
changed to a coach
Right.
because they were too high rank, or they climbed to like much too high rank. Because I think the cap is I believe, I may be wrong, but I don't think I am. I believe it's some Mortal 100 RR. About to say SR, but yeah. And yeah, so I believe they climbed above that rank. So we had to take them out, and they became a coach, which is lucky for Golden Academy that they were allowed to do that.
To be honest, I feel like Kirim on my team kind of doubles as a coach.
Yeah.
You're just talking this person's face way too much this entire time. I'm
but yeah,
excited to see them.
I mean, yeah, I'll have a talk with Carl about it. Could be interesting to add.
Definitely.
All right. Well, now that we've moved away from kind of the Ascent talk, do you want to move on to the next topic?
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
so
excited.
Alrighty,
let's head off unless there's anything else anyone wants to specifically say about that map. We'll head up onto one of the more dangerous topics of the week. I think it's not the most dangerous. That's next one. But
Yeah.
one of the most. Player of the week. So I don't know if everyone's thought about this beforehand. You've all seen the run of show beforehand anyway. Thank you, Toasty. So we're going to start, Toasty, with you, and we'll go through everyone else as well.
Okay, I wasn't even prepared for this. Okay, I'm gonna take.
Give us your person and 2 reasons.
A person and 2 reasons. Okay. I'll go Bashna China. So
Yeah.
obviously the first reason being, you know, the final moments of that game where they just pulled out an ace to turn it around completely around, win the series from off that. Like, that is just nutty. Second reason, they were generally just being a nuisance towards the opposing team, like, the entire game. Not only with the Grim Walls, but just in the way they were using, like we were saying before, the slow orbs on kind of the retake situations, right? When you're holding that site in the post plant, if well, I guess it'd be the defenders are retaking, and then you just slow orb them, you wall them, and even sometimes walling themselves on off angles to really take defenders off guard, draw attention, buy time. I think the playstyle of Bashina China was so detrimental to what Golden Academy were trying to do that just made Bashina China the MVP off that, as well as just getting the kind of final moment, the ace to finish it all. So.
And it was a wonderful ace. I rewatched that a couple of times. I think of just like, wow.
Yeah.
Just wow. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to argue against that one. At least, Moon, who's your player of the week? You can pick someone from Sailor Moon.
Why did you come to me next?
Because I'm going clockwise again.
Oh.
we can go somewhere else first if you're still thinking.
I'm happy to go because I have.
Okay, Hex, go on then.
So I'm gonna put my vote in for Kurum as the player of the week. And that's not only because they're ridiculous in game, and obviously I have a bit of like an upper hand because I know everything going on behind the scenes. But I mean, they've taken on this role as team captain like ridiculously well. They're acting as almost a coach. You know, they're organizing all this kind of shit that the team needs, and making sure that everyone knows everything. I believe they're IGL, which would show. And I mean, they're just generally a very, very good team player and a very good solo player as well.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Magic?
I would probably have to go with Adam. I think just the clutch factors and the way that they were able to hold stuff down with Killjoy, like that is so important on a bunch of different maps. And even the way that they play on Fracture, even though they had switched off of Killjoy, it was still the same idea. Just the way that they used the Rolling Thunders to clutch out a couple of rounds and understood exactly when and where to place them, as well as the timings with everything, like that is how you know you have a player with great game sense and knowledge.
I mean, it looks like we're going a lot of people kind of going towards that Phoenix Ignite side of the
Yeah.
table.
I mean, considering they
Moon.
were underdogs, it makes sense, right?
It
Yeah.
does, but they didn't win as much as maybe the other underdogs did, which is perfect segue to Moon. Who's your player of the week?
Honestly, I'm biased, and I'm gonna have to go with Kurum again. He's like my comfort pick.
Yeah.
But overall, like basically everything that Hex said, like
Mhm.
genuinely, I just think without Kurum on our team, like we wouldn't be as good as we are. And
Mhm.
that's not just like because he's a good player. Again, like he gets along with everyone, and he, like I said, once again takes the initiative,
Mhm.
which I think is a big factor
Yeah.
towards
And
how our games
also,
went.
I know this is less kind of like less informational for the viewer, but I think in future as well we should let you guys in, everyone else on the podcast, to more like inside information, because
Mhm.
obviously me and Moon's votes are very kind of
Yeah.
like based off of the inside stuff going on within the teams. And if you know that, you can make better decisions on stuff like this, and it will be very interesting to see how things change.
But to be
Mhm.
honest as well, Feneg did pretty decent as well.
Mhm.
I saw some good plays from Feneg, and
Yeah.
again, team captain. I'm sorry, Feneg. But and once again, he still does take the initiative as well as Kiram, which is really good
Mhm.
for our team.
I mean, Feneg, I think, was my original prediction for MVP anyway.
Yeah.
On this podcast from last week, I'm pretty sure, because I adore Feneg's playstyle. I think it's the most perfect playstyle that you can have, whether or not they're IGLing or taking the lead or team captain or anything. Their playstyle is so good, and it was so good again this week. Like, I don't think it was good enough for me to be player of the week, but I love Feneg. Feneg, if you're watching, I love you. In a non-weird way.
Oh.
Before Toasty says something.
I mean, today is National Proposal Day, right? Or was that yesterday?
Wait,
I
is
don't know.
it?
That was no, that was yesterday.
That was yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, we missed
Isn't
it.
Feneg like
I know tomorrow's National Water
a
Day.
baby?
Yeah, isn't Fennig like 15?
Well,
Oh
He's
no!
like 14.
Cut it out! Cut it out!
Feneg's basically young enough to be my kid. Then that's fine. Feneg could be my child. That's fine.
Aw.
Oh, that,
I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
wholesome. Okay.
Yeah, that worked.
I mean, to be fair,
Love
yeah, that makes
isn't
sense.
always like that, you guys. God.
Unless Feneg is like
Hashtag
secretly
echo
30 or
Dr.
something.
Fennig.
Yeah. But actually, so
Excuse
I
me.
was getting I was getting all of you for your picks. I should probably pick someone as well, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Sort of.
Don't pick Fennig after that.
I'm not picking Feneg. I think Feneg's play is beautiful. I'm probably gonna have to go down the Phoenix Ignite train as well. But as a Sova player, I'm going for Semesco. Because
Solid.
there were multiple times with recon darts, with Sova ults, with shock darts.
Yeah.
They forced people out of so many positions in hell on A. They got like 2 kills on a lot of damage with their Sova ults over on B. Their utility usage was perfect, and as the only information gatherer on Phoenix Ignite,
Yeah.
they played it. Like I know you think Bastion of China was the reason they won.
I agree,
maybe Adam
though.
was, but I think Semesco.
I want to talk about, obviously we just talked a lot about Ascent, but I'll talk about Ascent again here. In that Semesco, a lot of the time was playing the kind of mid positions rather than their defense, and would single-handedly clear top mid and tiles, pretty much single-handedly, right? You throw the arrow top mid, you use your drone a bit later on to try and clear tiles, and that basically gives them all the map control they need. They were even, fragging onto players that were in top mid a couple times. You saw a clip of them a few minutes ago where they just dinked someone with a Marshall up top mid, and that's a kind of gameplay we were seeing from Semesco the entire time.
Yeah, so I think that's mine, obviously. But obviously, I guess, Toasty, are we doing it as a podcast? Because if we're going as a podcast, then we've got Kurum as
Oh, yeah.
player of the week, right?
Yeah, we'll do individual, because I remember last week as well, I think a couple of us went for Kurum, and that actually ended up being kind of accurate to this week, so, yeah.
Yeah, well, there we go. But so we'll head off after that player of the week segment into our talent preds. Now, this is the most dangerous. This is the most dangerous position. So obviously, Hex, you did pretty well with your predictions. Toasty did terrible. Moving on.
Yeah.
Right?
Wait, I didn't do terrible. I got the same as Hex. I got 2 and 1.
Move on. Next. Go,
Yeah,
go.
cool. Okay, but yeah, Toasty, do you want to run us through? You can keep that smug look on your face.
Yeah.
Run us through where everyone is at, except me, for the talent predictions.
Yeah, give me a second to pull up the master sheet. Okay, here we go. So, right now we have me. So basically, how we're doing it, I think, is we have so for a correct prediction you get 1 point, and for an incorrect one you get -1. So currently, in terms of the actual talent and the predictions, we got me at 1 point. We've got Rudy at -1. We also have Citrus at -1. We have Dabbed, who participated in the predictions despite not watching any of the games, at, I believe, 1, yep. -3 on you, Echo. We have Joe, our producer, on 1, and then -3 on Magic, with Hex at 1.
At least
so-
it's us at the bottom, Magic.
Yeah, Echo and Magic kind of tanked, honestly.
Okay, but then why are we?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then why are we the most two of the analyst type people on this podcast?
Because
should throw us out.
sometimes you don't have to use logic to solve everything. Sometimes a good bit of papaganess will get you far in life.
Okay,
I'll
it's
play
all
it
about
right.
the heart.
You know,
Yeah.
Toasty, I'm going to quote you.
What?
A good bit of papaganess can get you far in life.
That's
Yeah.
my next tattoo, I think.
Wait, Hex without glasses looks kind of cursed. What the heck?
No, he's so cute
What
without
the
them.
heck?
You have to say that, Moon. Oh, that was
What
nice,
the
Hex.
heck?
That was good.
What the heck?
that was quite good. But also, I'm pretty sure Rudy should get minus points for saying the right one
That's what I
for the
did.
predictions. Oh,
That's
you
why
did?
that's
Okay,
why it's colored in red.
Okay,
I
okay,
can't
good.
show the viewer, but yeah, no. I mean, I
good,
can
that's fine then.
technically.
And so we don't have a lot of people. At least I haven't written down my predictions for this week. Magic, you haven't either. So we're gonna
No.
have to do them live on the show.
Mhm.
I'll start with the two talent in the terms of management. Let's go through your predictions for the week. Moon, let's start off with you.
Why do you feel like coming to me first? Ah,
Because I saw Hex was typing something, so
I don't even
figured they
know
were busy.
what's going on this week, to be completely honest.
Okay, well,
You can check
Golden
the master
Academy
sheet
versus
off,
Sailor
but
Moon.
yeah.
Oh, I'm
What's
nervous.
Going on, what's going on screen? What's
You're
going on?
nervous.
Yeah, honestly, I'm quite nervous to go against Golden. Only because like Golden was predicted to come like on top, like out of everyone.
Mhm.
That was what's predicted, like especially between staff as well. And so obviously my team's kind of like the underdogs, like we are labeled from the beginning like one of the worst teams. And so to be put up against Golden, it is quite nerve-wracking, but honestly, I think we might be able to pull it and we might be able to win against Golden.
Yeah.
Okay, and for the other two matches, so we've also got Summit Peak versus Phoenix Ignite, which I think is probably the biggest and the closest of the matches that we've got coming up this week.
I mean, I'm biased for no reasons. So obviously I'm gonna go with Summit.
I
So
mean,
yeah, I think
to be
Summit will
honest,
take it.
to be fair, like with the talent predictions, it is only 2 votes for Phoenix out of like 8. So
But it's not like
I mean,
Summit
Magic's is
actually
going to vote
had it.
Phoenix, right? Come on, Magic.
I have
Come
to
on.
think about it a little bit longer.
Yeah, Magic is just sitting there with the icon on the flipping cell, just waiting
I
for
feel
it.
like if I say Phoenix, I'm gonna get shouted at anyway. So I'm being scared into saying Summit.
Mhm.
I mean, Echo's joined the Phoenix train.
Oh yeah, I'm with Phoenix all the way. Okay, Hex, what about you for the 3 matches we've got coming up this week?
yeah, so starting off with Summit Peak versus Phoenix Ignite, obviously I'm
Are
gonna go
you
for
scared for this? Are you scared for this map or for
So-
this round?
I'm not scared, but I'm not confident, you know? Like I'm in the middle ground, right? I'm not worried, but I'm not going in being like we're gonna win, you know? Because I think if I did do that, I would get an ego. And if we did win, then that would be bad. So
Please don't
So,
give
yeah.
Hex an ego.
I mean a mix of that and also I don't want to be wrong. So yeah, but then moving on to Golden Academy versus Sailor Moon, and obviously for no
Why did you
reason
say
at
Sailor?
all.
I'm
So
sorry, can we
Sailor.
nitpick on this? You said this
Wait,
last
wait,
time as well.
say it
It's
again?
Sailor.
What?
Say it again, Hex.
Sailor Moon.
Say it again how you said before.
Sailor Moon.
Why?
Wait,
I
what?
think it's no,
So,
I think,
okay, to be
no,
honest,
I know
I
why.
recently-
I know why. I know
No,
why.
I
say
recently
it.
realized that in one of my voice chats, it's spelled Sailor.
No, I know
Oh.
why.
I don't know
Ah.
why.
What?
It's because of I think there was a team I think called Sailor something in Incognito season 1, and
Sailor Galaxia.
yeah,
Yeah, them.
Sailor
Yeah.
that's why.
Galaxia.
Wait, is
It
it
was
Sailor
shapely
Galaxia?
with
Yeah,
other
we
people.
were just called Sailor. I was on that team. We were
Eka
called
was on
Sailor
it. Eka was
Galaxia.
on it. Yeah.
I thought it was
We were called
Sailor
Sailor
Galaxia.
Galaxia.
Okay, no, well, yeah. Well, I always pronounce their name
It's from
wrong.
the same thing.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I know it's from an anime, but
You're the weeb. You should know what Sailor like.
I'm
Yeah,
not
you should
weeb,
know
I'm
what
not
Sailor Moon is.
weeb.
No, I literally showed you a photo of Sailor Moon, and you're like, "Who is this?"
Isn't Sailor
yeah.
Moon like the sailor from the anime called Sailor Moon?
She's
The
a
main
magical
protagonist.
girl.
Yes.
So it's why does she call it Sailor then?
Because
Okay.
she has
Anyway.
this
Anyway.
cool
Anyway.
outfit, and it's like a
Okay,
sailor
Right.
outfit.
Anyway, so with Sailor Moon versus Golden Academy, for no reason at all, I'm gonna go with Sailor Moon. And actually, to be fair, I do have a reason. It's because Kurum's ridiculous, and also
Yep.
Phoenix good,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
also Bean is decent,
Yep.
and also the new sub is
Ninjas.
good, and also Games is alright, and yeah.
Games is better than alright, but sure.
Already wrong. Already wrong.
Okay.
And then for the final game of the week,
And
Victor's
then,
Quantum
yeah.
Quasars.
You didn't
I
ask me
mean,
my
I-
opinion on that.
Oh, sorry. Go. Oh,
Yeah, go back to Moon. Yeah.
yeah. We'll go back
Yeah.
to you then, Moon. Sorry.
What was the question?
Quantum Quasars versus Victor.
I didn't actually watch them play.
What? Yeah.
Oh my.
Yes,
Your team played one of them this week.
Oh wait, we played Quantum. Like,
Oh yeah.
it was really close though. But I haven't seen Vey play. Did they play?
Mhm.
Who did
Oh
they
yeah,
play?
yeah. Moon, they played my team, but you didn't watch it because you were on the bus. So
Yeah, I was on a coach.
yeah, to my
So
house.
that's my defense. Honestly, I think Quantum can do it because
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna keep their same play style because I think
Oh,
people
no, they
have
will.
caught onto it. I think people are gonna catch onto it way too quick.
I promise you, they'll keep that
We
playstyle
did
because
really easy.
they kept it through the entire scrims, and if they were gonna change it, I think they would have changed it in that week.
But if they don't change it, then it's just gonna like people are gonna
Yeah.
catch onto it so easy and they're gonna lose.
Yeah,
And maybe
that-
Vey
that's what's
actually.
gonna happen. I mean, I put in Quantum just because I think they won't be able to adapt to their playstyle. Because as someone that's played Vey Victus, they weren't even able to adapt to our playstyle, which isn't as annoying as
I haven't played
Quantum's
Vey
is.
yet. That's the thing. I've tried setting up a scrim with them, but I haven't got around to it yet.
And I think Vey Victus will get more frustrated than be like I'm more frustrated than use anger to kind of push them
Yeah.
on, you know.
Quantum definitely
Um,
can keep their cool, I guess.
Yeah, and I don't think that Vav will be able to as much.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my opinion. And who's next?
We'll go up onto Magic. Have you finished up
Okay.
your? No, you
Magic
still haven't
is
put one in
done.
for
Oh,
the first.
Magic,
first
I
one.
saw
I'm
you
gonna
put
do
them
it
in.
I'm gonna do it live.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
I think that Phoenix Ignite is going to make it as close as possible, but I actually do think that Summit Peak is going to win.
No. come
Nice. Let's
on.
go.
I still am not fully, absolutely, wholly convinced. I
Okay.
still am not. I think that there are a lot of holes that they have to cover up that they won't be able to in time. I think that they still have issues to work through, and especially if they're not scrimming, if they're having inactivity issues, then that's going to be a problem. And if Summit Peak can keep this train rolling and use their players and the strategies that they've been very thorough with, it's going to come down to a tactical shootout, and I think that Summit Peak is going to win.
I can see that argument. Summit Peak have better dueling mechanics. I can see that.
Can I put my piece in here?
Go on.
Okay, so
Sure.
here's
No,
here's the thing, Magic. Have you actually considered that that you know that I have more followers than you on Twitter, and therefore my opinion?
Do you?
Magic has
Is
more
better.
followers than you.
Wait, really?
Like we've
I
held
was
the
gonna
two
say-
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Magic has a ton of followers compared to you. I think.
Wait, no way.
Moon can actually ratio on TikTok.
Yeah.
You know what?
Really?
Yeah,
How would you
I'm
TikTok?
just okay. I'll ratio you on TikTok, Magic. That's what I'll do.
Moon actually
Really?
can
Me
reach
and
it
my-
with
Oh, I
me and
can
my-
review you.
Moon has 60,000 followers on TikTok, so she can reach
Yeah,
it
okay.
with you.
Moon, ratio Magic for me on my behalf because of that awful pick.
I
Okay.
don't know. You kind of disrespected my team. So.
Okay, you know
Yeah.
what? I'll change my pred to Sailor
Oh.
Moon right now if you ratio Magic on TikTok.
No way.
But
I would've called
Moon,
him out on
but Toasty,
TikTok.
Moon is going for the same pick as Magic.
Wait, I already predded Sailor Moon. What do you mean?
No, I mean last week. I'm still hurt.
Yeah, you
Bruh.
did slam them
Yeah,
quite
you,
hard.
you,
Yeah.
you did say Sailor Moon bottom team.
Yeah, and they're gonna lose to Golden Academy probably, but you know.
Okay, we'll see.
Oh.
We'll see.
Kyurem can't perform forever, okay?
For my
Magic.
pick on Sailor Moon versus Gak,
Mhm.
if Sailor Moon plays the way that they did against Quantum, no shot.
Mhm.
Especially with the changes that we've seen to Golden Academy, especially with just the consistency of Sailor Moon and their attack and their aggression. I don't see a way through for Golden Academy, especially if their mental booms like it did last week and they lose such a big advantage like they did.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I completely agree there, and it feels like a lot of us do. Toasty, are you Sailor Moon or Gak this week?
Well, I did put down Sailor Moon, but I did also just say that Gak will win, but
Mhm.
also I just don't know. Like,
I
I-
mean, to be honest, me and my whole team, we agreed that like we should have taken that second map way quicker, way sooner than we did,
Mhm.
and that was just because of some like silly plays and some silly comms. So honestly, I feel like we definitely can play better than we did,
yeah.
and I think that says a lot. And I might sound like really overconfident and cocky, but I honestly think that they can outplay.
I mean, considering how I've been shouting about how I'm gonna ratio Magic, I think you're the least cocky person here, but
Probably.
okay, so on a more serious note, though, I do think Sailor Moon takes this. I think the Golden Academy probably bounced back after last week, probably make some changes, you know, VOD review, etc. Probably make it a bit closer. I still think they lose, but I think they can really take Sailor Moon, maybe even a 3-mapper, I don't know.
And then Magic, back to you for your final prediction. I see you've got Quantum down. Do you want to give us a little bit of the reasons for that?
Quantum has the stronger team at the end of the day. Like, and hopefully, you know, like we've been talking about inactivity issues and whatnot, but if they can pull that together and if they can start to work with Era and pull things together, and if they do end up getting T back into the game, I think that's going to make a huge difference as well. But that's a bit of an if. But even without that, I think that they're still working better. I still think that they do have some semblance of coordination. They just need to build that up a little bit longer. They need to take choke points together. They need to peek together. They need to make sure that they're using their utility on defense early to stop burst pushes and to get info. And it's a lot of ifs, but I don't think that Vivictus has enough to beat them outright right now.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I don't think anyone's going to completely argue against that, except maybe Toasty.
Okay, so what I want to say is that Vivictus, right, what has happened is they've now got Keon. And I said this exact point earlier, but with Keon and Connor S coming in, you know, maybe a bit of a sweeping roster change in the starting roster, I think they're going to build back up and come back better. They didn't get completely stomped, you know, in the last game they played. That was against, what was it, Summit? Was it against?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they didn't get completely stomped, right? Granted, one of those maps, I like, you know, I think they performed worse than the other one on, but I don't think Vivictus get completely stomped here. I think that the sweeping changes to their backline will help. As we were saying earlier, you know, might not be the flashiest change ever, might not be the flashiest kind of trade, but I do think it benefits, again, both sides. Vivictus will probably come back into this, and, you know, I've predded them. I think it'll be a very close affair if they barely manage to take it. But if they do manage to take it, I think it's like very close. I think it's like, you know, 2-1, you know, 13-10, 13-11, 13-12s, you know, kind of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, and do you want to talk about Phoenix Ignite? I know you are their biggest fan. I'll give you some floor.
What
as
I mean, what's there to say? They're Phoenix Ignite. They win these, you know. I mean, come on, it's Hex's team. Like, it's easy pickings. It's easy pickings, man. Easy pickings.
And finally, so we've got my own predictions as well. I've gone Phoenix Ignite. I love this team. Like the way they adapted, the way they played, their defensive capabilities, like on so many maps, that defensive capability. If they have the aggressiveness to get onto site, which they usually do in some quite clever ways of taking map control. If they can do that, there's only a couple of maps where that's not super important. If they can, I'm sure we've got a map ban pick system, right? Going to the games, I'm not too sure
Oh
how
yeah,
that
no, we
works.
have,
Yeah.
we have, yeah.
Like they can just ban the maps that they're not too comfortable on, and they can just do the same things as they did on Ascent, as they did on Fracture, and I like, yeah, this team.
Yeah, so I mean, with the map ban pick system, it's actually
Mhm.
quite interesting the way it's working. So the way it works is the higher seed gets first ban,
Mhm.
and then the lower seed gets first ban. So Phoenix Ignite aren't going to get the first ban. And that could set them off slightly badly because obviously Incentive's easily their best map, and what we can do. I'm not going to expose my strategies, but what we could do is ban Ascent.
You can
So
ban
yeah.
Ascent, but they still have Fracture, and they'll
Yeah.
play similar on something like on Breeze. They could play quite similar to how they were as well on Ascent and on Fracture. So I think if they can pick up Breeze, we haven't seen them on Breeze obviously out in public, maybe in scrims,
We haven't
but
seen
we're not going to
any
leak scrim
Breeze,
info.
have we?
But I
No.
genuinely expect Phoenix
No.
Ignite to be really, really good on a map like Breeze.
Okay.
If we
And-
see it,
I mean,
though.
I can
If we see
tell
it.
you for
No leaking scrims for that.
Oh yeah, it was about my team, but yeah.
Oh
I'm
well, yeah,
pretty
but you're
sure-
against people, right?
I'm pretty sure Sailor Moon's scrimming Phoenix soon. So
Ooh, inside information
Phoenix
there.
wins those.
Yeah.
interesting.
Phoenix wins that. Phoenix wins this map, easy.
Can we
Say-
can we move on to the next section because I'm excited.
Okay.
Can I finish off my predictions?
Yeah, let
Yeah,
that
no,
Echo
go ahead,
finish.
go
God.
Hurry up.
Sorry, I've thought like a whole thing to say. You know, I'm very excited for this.
You got a speech?
Yeah, I mean,
he's got all written down.
Oh.
But okay, so Sailor Moon win this. Like Golden Academy, they were pretty good. I liked how they played against Phoenix Ignite in the first map. Hated it in the second map. Hated it in the third map. And now they've lost their second best player in Galaxis. I don't want to say this is a stomp, but it's going to be a 2-0. Like
Yeah.
for Sailor Moon, like Sailor Moon just win this like quite easily. I
Yeah,
think.
but you guys jinxed it now.
Oh, sorry. I mean, yeah, like especially if me and Magic are voting for your team, we both have -3 records. So, and then yeah, like Quasar, they are good. I think that they have the ability to win this definitely. I do like Toasty's points about Victus. They definitely ring true, and I think that there's definitely Victus have the potential, but I don't think they've had enough time to integrate. What's their new player called? Keon. They got in the trade, right? I don't think they've had enough time. I love Keon's play, but I don't think they've had enough time to really integrate and get the synergy in to really allow them to show that potential of their pop-off players that we all know and love. So I think it's just waiting maybe another week before we start treading them for real, at least for me. But that is it, at least for the predictions. Doesn't seem like everyone is going to roast me on mine, so thank you. Okay, so Hex, we'll come into you first for this because you're so excited for this segment. So we're going to start talking about the next weeks of games. Game of the week, Hex.
Okay, so I have a few things I wanted to say for this. So first, I think the closest game is going to be between Summit Peak and Phoenix Ignite because that's two kind of like titans going up against each other. Obviously, it's based off the first week, so it's not very much information. But looking at the first week, it's two of the better teams going up against each other, and I think that's going to be exciting. I think it's going to be close, and I think that no one really knows what's going to happen, right? What's happened?
What do you mean?
Sorry, then going the stream went down. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I did.
Then going into the second week, next game, I think that the best game and most impactful game is going to be Golden Academy versus Sailor Moon, because either that's going to be Sailor Moon proving themselves as a good team, or it's going to be Golden Academy trying to prove that they're not bad, really, right? So it's two
Mhm.
kind of like similar but different things that they're both going to be working towards, because it's Golden Academy being like, please, I'm not bad, and Sailor Moon being like, look, I'm still good, right?
Mhm.
And then with Quantum versus Vivictus, I mean, I think none of the games are going to be bad, but I think out of all the games, it's going to be the most toilet bowl of all the games, really. And that's not to say it's not going to be bad, and that's not to say it's not going to be close. But I think the two other games are going to be much more exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
honestly kind of agree. Magic, it looks like you do as well, right?
Because Quantum and Vivictus were still my two like go-to teams. Like they're two of my favorite teams, and I can't wait to see them face up against each other and say like, okay, which one of us is going to come out on top? Which one of us is going to prove that like we're not going against the predictions that we had, that we're not going against the performances that we put up in Pugs. Like it's their chance to get some redemption for both of those teams. So I think that that's going to be an exciting game. That's going to be the game that I want to watch.
Okay, that's interesting. Interesting take on it, at least. Moon, what about you?
Excited for the Summit game. I think that's
Mhm.
gonna be the one that I'm definitely gonna tune in for. Just because, like you said, it's two teams that are really good.
Mhm.
Like you said, two of the better teams that are really good. And I think it's gonna be close, honestly. I generally think it's gonna be close,
Mhm.
but once again, I am kind of leaning towards Summit.
Yeah, I mean that's understandable. Toasty, are you? Do you think this is going to be a close map? Is this your map of the week as well, or game of the week? Sorry,
Game of the week. Well, Summit versus Phoenix Ignite.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, for me, it's kind of like it's like this. I know Phoenix Ignite are gonna win the game, so I'm kind of like nonchalant about it. I'm really interested to see if Vivictus bounce back. Like, I'm not gonna say like
Right.
outright I'm a Vivictus fan like Magic is, right? But what I do want to see if Vivictus bounce back with the roster changes they've gone through, because obviously they don't go against Golden Academy yet, so we can't see the direct impact of those trades against the person they traded them between, you know. But Quantum Quasars versus Phoenix versus Vivictus is going to be just a good game to watch, because like Magic said, two teams that were originally rated very highly, and one of which has, you know, made massive, well, not massive changes, but like, you know, changes to their roster, changes to their core.
Prominent changes, maybe.
Yeah.
Like they've changed things up. So I think that is the important game to look at here. In terms of actual, you know, personal preference, I think some of this is Phoenix Ignite. But Quantum Quasars versus Vivictus for the purposes of like, you know, like how good it'll be.
Yeah. So it's been
think-
something different from everyone, really, hasn't it?
I mean, I haven't said my stuff again, Hex. God,
Sorry, I'll leave it.
this is why you're not host.
You
No,
know
don't
what?
leave. What?
Hi.
Hex is just gone.
Bye, Hex.
Hi, everyone.
You know what we can do? Hold up.
Wait,
You
can
just
I
know.
make a point after?
There we go.
Oh, perfect. Can I say something?
Go for it.
Sure, go for it.
Going back to the Quantum game, I actually
Mhm.
think Quantum might have a better chance. Just some like behind the scenes info is that we scrimmed Quantum after our game with them, and it was very close. Actually, I think they've gone out of their way to make some improvements, and I think that they potentially have a chance. And like you said, I think that's going to be a good game to watch. Honestly, Fate versus
Yeah.
Quantum, and it's going to be
Yeah.
a really good one.
I mean, I think that's my game of the week as well. At the end of the day, because the way I view it, we have our two best teams in the league currently, right? Like, I don't think many people are doubting this. Summit Peak, Phoenix Ignite, right? I think they're the two tops. Seeing the two Titans clash is going to be exciting. It's going to be a very fun map to watch. And obviously, this has big impact for the standings overall, quite early on in the season. But I don't think it's the biggest showing of a game. The most important game here is going to be Vivictus and Golden Academy, because they're the two teams that are question marks, right?
Yeah.
Wait, was it Vivictus Golden Academy or was it? Oh no, it was Quasars. Sorry, my
Yeah.
bad. But yeah, like they're the two question marks right now, and this really kind of gives us the answer about it. That we can kind of start to put together kind of who's in the top three, who's in the bottom three, in a roundabout sort of way. It's way too early in the season to do that for real, but that game is going to be the one that has the most things we can learn from it.
Yeah, I mean the reason I was saying Golden Academy vs Sailor Moon, obviously, and I am a sussy imposter. Yes, haha, funny. But, but
I
yeah.
was trying
Who's
to find
saying that?
Among Us Poppet, but I can't find it.
Oh no! Why did you say him off?
Wait, I have an Among Us Poppet. I was trying to look for it, but I
We
can't
got
find
Among
it.
Us. Let's go.
But yeah, the reason I say Golden Academy vs Sailor Moon is because obviously Golden Academy going into it, based on like scrims and everything, were the team that everyone was looking to be like the kind of Phoenix Ignite of or Summer Peak of. Oh, I don't want to be arrogant, but yeah, Phoenix Ignite or Summer Peak of what it is now, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
coming back from that, they have so much to prove, right? And kind of then Sailor Moon have a lot to lose because
Mhm.
they went in and didn't roll, but they went well above everyone's expectations with how good they were, and now they want to sustain that, right? Because if they kind of not dominate, but like do well in a game and then do really badly in a game, everyone's gonna be like, this team is inconsistent. Like, what's going on? Are they actually good? Are they bad? Who knows? And then Golden Academy on the other hand, are like, we're good. Please, like, I want to show you that we're good. We are good. We have new roster changes. We have new players. We have everything is new, and I like it. Like, and 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 they have something to prove, and Sailor Moon have something to lose. So
Mhm.
it
Right.
goes
Yeah, no,
hand in hand.
that makes a lot of sense. But we do have to decide as a podcast
Oh,
which is going to be the game of the week. I mean, so far I think we've got a lot of votes for the GAC-VAV, right? Not GAC. How do you say that?
Cockvav.
Cockvav.
I think mine's worse. Just don't vote for Sailor Moon.
Oh my god.
So, are we going for Quantum Quasars?
Yeah, let's go Cook versus
Vav,
Vav.
yeah.
Yeah, let's
I'm
do
happy
that.
Yeah.
to do that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's going to be our game of the week. Now, it says in our run of show that we have to decide who's going to win. I'm going to go a little bit further. Map score.
Oh.
Ooh.
3-0. Wait, no. 2-0.
What?
2-0. 2-0. 2-0.
You're stuck in that
2-0 to who?
overcasting brain. Wow.
Well, I mean, I already put Vav down in my predictions. I'll say 2-0 Vav, but
Okay.
Are we going to go clockwise again?
wait, what?
Oh no. Like, it's open up to anyone.
Oh,
Whoever
it's
wants
open.
to.
Oh, fine.
Yeah,
I'll go next then. I put down predictions quantum.
Mhm.
And I think the score is going to be. Oh, I think the
Right?
score is.
Mm.
I'm not sure. I think I can't decide whether it's 2 or 2-1. Right? I mean, that's the only options. But like, yeah.
Gonna pull a Toasty and say 3-0.
So I think it's gonna be 3-0 to no. So I think it's gonna be 2-1 because
Mhm.
I think that what's gonna happen is, like I was saying before, I think that Vivix just won't be able to adapt to the playstyle of Quantum because it's so annoying to play against. It's so annoying, and that is what makes them good, right? Or better, right? And I think that what's going to happen is Quantum are going to also be adapting a little bit to Vivix's playstyle, but less so. And I think they'll win first map. I think the Vivix will have a little point of time where they're like, oh yeah, we're getting the hang of it a little bit. We're learning a few things, and then going to third map, I think it will be a little bit different. Maybe it will be Icebox, which really is really great for Quantum. And then Quantum will just bring things back and get it. But I think the games will be close.
Yeah, I mean, I know I agree. Magic, do you as well?
I think it's gonna be 2-1. I
Mhm.
think that Vivictus is gonna come out with like a stray like split pick that they come up with like in scrims this week or something like one of those like lesser picked maps that all of a sudden they're gonna just have like a great strategy for, and we're gonna see them roll it. But other than that, I think that it's gonna be like close games. It's gonna be tight either way.
And Moon.
I think 2-1 to Quantum.
Mhm.
So I'm agreeing with Hex on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Looks
mean,
like
I'm the same
I'm
as
the
well.
smartest one here, so
Right. I mean, I meant
Don't
2-1
get,
Quantum
don't
as
get
well.
too
Yeah.
egotistical.
So it's all four of us against Toasty, and we know how that happened, how that worked out
oh
last
no.
week.
Let's
It's almost
go.
it's almost always Toasty coming up with these hot takes, and that's the perfect segue into Toasty.
Oh no.
What is our final segment of the week, and you want to talk us through it?
Alrighty, so we've decided to introduce a segment on the podcast called Lost in the Hot Sauce. So basically, it doesn't, I mean, it's kind of half to do with hot sauce, half not. So basically, what's going to happen is every week, you know, if I haven't already come up with a hot take, which I have, you know, 4-1 against me, so I'm predicting Vay victors for this game, whereas everyone else is like, you know, quote unquote.
And 2-0.
And 2-0, yeah. So that's the hot take for this week, and essentially, if that hot take is incorrect by next week, I have to either eat something sour or something spicy throughout the next podcast. So basically, instead of, you know, eating chicken wraps like I was this podcast, I'll just, you know, down some sriracha or whatever. I think next week, because it's a lot easier for me to obtain, I'll just grab like some like toxic wastes and warheads and stuff like that, and just eat them during the.
That's sour. Like
You
need
don't,
to reckon, like...
Hex. You do not know me. I hate sour stuff. I can't even eat Sour Patch Kids. Like that's. I can't even eat those.
That's embarrassing. Like
yeah, that is.
Like...
So this is how bad it is for me. So every week that I do not get something correct, I have to eat something sour or spicy throughout the next one.
Really sour stuff.
You poor soul.
I don't want to torture myself more than I would do with toxic waste and warheads.
More than necessary, yeah.
Yeah. So next week will be toxic waste warheads. Week after might be like sriracha or whatever. If I get it wrong, that is. If I get it wrong. Okay.
And if you get it wrong,
What if you get
it gets
right?
worse every week as well,
If you get it right, do we all have to eat the other stuff?
No,
Oh,
it's
no,
just
no,
me.
no.
It's just me.
Okay.
So it's just if I get it wrong.
I mean, I'd be open to it. It sounds fun.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I love toxic waste.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I
point.
don't. I don't.
It's supposed to be a negative reinforcement.
Yeah.
What, negative reinforcement to take down Toasty's ego.
Listen.
Yeah, exactly.
The good
okay.
the good thing about my ego is that it never breaks.
Even with toxic waste.
I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah, we'll
I don't
see
think
next
I'll
week.
get the
We'll see.
pred wrong anyway, but
I mean, we will see this week whether Toasty gets it wrong. We will see next week whether or not he has to eat those toxic wastes, those sour sweets at all anyway. And we're going to wrap up very soon. Is there anything anyone else wants to say before
Yeah,
we wrap up?
I just want to say for the final segment, it says final banter and thoughts. So does anyone have some banter to?
Hex,
Fair enough.
look at your hairline. That is clapped, my G.
You can't see my hairline.
It was the funniest thing that came to mind at the moment. Okay.
If we're talking about hairlines, we're talking about Magic and me. Like, mine's much worse than Magic.
Yeah, no, look
I
at
mean,
that.
wait, have a look at mine. Hold up. Have a look at that.
Hairline
Oh,
reveal.
Toasty.
Yeah, that sucks.
Wow.
Oh, that's not good. Toasty.
Toasty, you're
is
like
not good.
17, aren't you? Come on.
Yeah, listen, my dad balded at like 20, so
Oh,
that'd
Sorry,
explain
Toasty.
it.
yeah. Good luck.
Oh.
I'm gonna need to get some product.
hair reattachment surgery.
Isn't that just a
It's
wig?
It's called hair
scalp
plugs.
transplant.
It's just a wig.
Well, also, you
no.
can get hair plugs. You
Like
can,
a
you
hair
can get hair plugs.
transplant.
No, you can get like I don't
You
know.
can
what
get
it's
hair
called.
plugs. They're called hair plugs.
Is that what it's
Hair
called? Okay.
plugs.
Yeah,
What?
hair plugs.
Bruh.
It's no, they like fuse it like in like they
It
Like
sounds
they
like
put it in,
they're
they
like...
put it into your head. I mean, like
Yeah.
go look at Wayne Rooney. Like he was bold.
I mean,
right?
there is also
He's
an
not bald anymore.
alternative. There
Is
is
he
also
not?
an alternative.
No, he's no. He's got. He looks like he's got hair, but it looks really bad.
What? What?
What?
No
Yeah,
way. I
Google
can
him right now.
that.
Google him.
Oh
Google him.
yeah.
See, this is my backup option. This is my backup option.
Yeah.
A beanie. So
Wait,
you know.
you remind me of someone.
Uh,
Oh,
that's
I'll
so
have to get it
weird.
by next week.
Right?
I'll find
Why
it.
does he have
What?
hair now? He is just wrong. Like,
Oh my god, this is gonna annoy me.
I'm gonna wait. What? Wait, are you talking about how Wayne Rooney has hair or something?
It
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
looks
Toasty.
wrong.
Can you put this up quickly?
Wait, okay, I can do that. Hold on, give me a sec. What am I supposed to be looking at here?
Just Wayne Rooney.
Just Wayne Rooney. Just Google Wayne
Yeah,
Rooney
just
images.
He
Google
looks
Wayne
like
Rooney.
if his beard was longer, he'd look like a Gandalf or something. Like,
Okay, give me a sec. Let me put this up on the browser source.
Toasty,
Yes.
I found your lookalike. I'm
My
sorry.
don't tell me it's
Wait,
gonna be Vector
can
from
you-
Despicable Me, right?
No, it's
Okay,
the...
good.
Can you put it in? Can you put it in podcast resources?
Wait, let me get it.
So this guy.
this
Yeah.
is final banter.
was
Let's go.
Bold.
I got what I wanted.
Wait, what?
It's really typical, but...
So he was bold,
He was
and
bald?
now like go look
His
at
hair.
him now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
his
yeah, he's
hair.
like that. Yeah. And
Oh
now he's got
my
real hair.
shit!
No, look at the one like in the middle and like the net like
This one?
reference.
Wait, what?
No.
Wait, where? What am I looking
Don't think
at?
we can't see your entire screen, Toasty.
Oh yeah, you can't see the
I
entire
can't find
screen.
out.
Yeah.
I can't find it now.
Wait,
Never
wait.
mind.
How much can you see? No, you can see that. Yeah, you can see that.
You can see mostly everything.
What is this?
Wait, is that Wayne Rooney? That's not Wayne Rooney, is it?
A soccer star Wayne Rooney arrested on public intoxication charge.
Oh god.
Oh god. Okay. Anyway,
Oh
what
my
was the
God,
reference
no.
you wanted to give me? What is this? This is not my lookalike. This is not my lookalike.
It is.
No, it isn't. Hold up.
It is.
Give me a
I can kinda
second.
see it. I
Oh
can
my
kind of see it.
Yeah.
No.
Yes. Wait. Oh wait, Moon. Can you put Toasty's glasses on there?
Wait,
Yeah,
hold
yeah,
up.
yeah.
Oh
Wait,
my god, no.
we're gonna do it side by side. We're gonna do it side by side, okay?
Okay.
If your hair was longer on the side, it would totally be you.
We're
Yeah.
doing it side by side. Okay. This is
You're
scuffed.
gonna do the
but-
same pose. Do the same pose.
Toasty glasses off and same pose.
Wait, so
Yeah.
how do I pose like that?
You just
Just
look
like-
to the side.
Just look
Give us
to
like
the
a
side.
3-4
Just
Wait,
look
so,
to
just,
the-
so
other side,
I
other
just
side.
kind of.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I told you.
No,
Yeah,
I look
no
nothing like
way.
this. I look nothing.
is
No, I
so
look nothing like
good.
that.
That's
Wait,
so
put your
accurate.
beanie on. Wait, put the beanie on.
Put the beanie on.
Yeah, put the beanie on.
Hold on, give me a sec.
Okay. Also, I don't know if Toasty can hear us, but he should definitely have to have this as a profile picture if he loses his
Yes,
hot takes.
yes.
Give me
Okay,
a sec.
and then put your headset on.
All right, yeah. Yeah.
And now turn.
Wait, Toasty.
Oh,
Pull that
no.
up.
What the heck is that?
No way.
No, it does not look accurate at all. Hold up,
Moon,
we're
that's amazing.
we're doing. Wait, hold up. Let's me put this one. Okay.
And Toasty, I don't know if you heard, but so we think if you lose your hot takes as well as the sour stuff, this should be your profile picture for the next week
This should be on profile picture for next week
No,
on-
for the
on
next
Twitter.
year.
on Twitter.
Next
on Twitter.
On
On
Twitter.
on Twitter.
I feel like if you have that as your profile picture and it looks like you don't really have like the right to ratio anyone.
True.
I mean, listen, I got counter ratioed by Citrus anyway, so it's not like I
Oh,
have any
really?
dignity
Did
left.
you?
Oh
Yeah.
Oh,
It was a ratio
Um,
card declined one.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
was good though. That was good.
All right, I think that about wraps it up for final banter.
Got to grab one final screen cap of that. There we
Nice.
go. Cool. Well, thank you everyone for coming to watch.
Oh, I got the perfect one.
This has been a fun, chaotic, however long it's been. We'll be wrapping up there. We're all looking forward to the next week of games,
Yeah.
and cannot wait to see whether or not Toasty has to do that hot sauce or sour challenge. So goodbye
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
And
See you in a bit.
Thank
Yeah.
you all.
Goodbye. Oh, my cat's there.